Chapter 17. The Meeting with the Paladins. A little over a month has passed. In that time, Hinata spent it tirelessly at work with her paladins, building a defense against Valdora and Rimiru, while her Imperial Guards were out gathering intelligence for her. It was now time for the Empire's monthly conference between the both major groups of the Papacy, the Crusaders, the Paladins under Hinata's direct control, the Master Rooks, and the Imperial Guard forces serving the Holy Empire. They were the pride of Lubitus, with Hinata Sakaguchi standing at the very peak. Hinata serves as the conference speaker and the chief of the Master Room, and the chief knight of the Master Rooks, and the captain of the Crusaders. Not to mention the strongest knight in the nation. Her word was law during the meeting. To her right were 6 people representing the Crusaders. The first was the knight Randar Jester, known as the Noble of Light. The next was Arnaud Bauman of Air. The man landed as the second strongest after Hinata. The next was Bacchus of Earth, a man gifted with smashing his magic-infused holy lance into his foes. Following him was Lotus of Water, a beautiful healer and elementalist who employed Holy Spirit Undying on the battlefield. Guard Fire was next, a tall knight and conjurer who wielded his flaming red spear. And finally, Fritz of Wind, a magical fighter as talented in wind magic as with his twin swords. The people seated here were amongst the best among the thousands of Paladins, and there was no doubting their talents. Contrasting with them, in Hinata's left side, were the Master Rooks, and much more ragtag assemblage. The number immediately 33, but still formed their own division due to their strength in battle. There were all at least A rank on charts, and a few of them were even champion level, a calamity on the threat scale. A few of them were notable: Blue Sky Snare Sar, who looked like a little boy but was older than anyone in the room. He used to be the chief of the Imperial Guard before Hinata took the role from him. Giant Boulder Grigori. He was Sar's right-hand man, whose imperial skill granted him astonishing physical resilience. And last was Raging Sea Glinda. She was newer to the fold than Hinata, and made a name for herself in recent years, notable for her red spiky hair. She was a wild woman whose fighting style was still veiled in mystery. This trio was known as the 3 Battle Sages. They sat together on the opposite of the 6 Paladins. The 9 of them were literally superhumans, far beyond framework ones who would think a human body could provide. They were all saints in their own right, and with Hinata they were collectively known as the 10 Great Saints. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Let's begin. Hinata, who was the absolute leader, began. Behind Hinata shaded some bamboo binds. The Holy Emperor Louis was taking in the joint conference at his seat. Before the meeting could officially start, Sarah made his opinion known. What gave you the right to be late, Hinata? Not only that did you fail to keep up with the Stormbearer and Valdora from waking up, you even let a new demon lord be born. You fail us as our leader. I refuse to follow An incompetent leader like you, Snare said with disgust to Hinata. You are being rude, Sir Sare, Rendar coldly stated. Arnaud nodded his head. He was right, boy. If you have an issue with our captain, I'd be more than happy to work it out with you. Is that so? Grigori said, with an irritated voice. If you fancy pants knights wanted to start a fight with us, that's very cocky of you, considering that you only act that way to opponents who are polite enough to lose on purpose. What did you say, buffoon? Butcher shouted. You want to die, you lowlights? Fritz said with anger. The meeting continued like this, with the knights throwing insults at each other. Hinata sighed and looked at everyone in the room with anger. All of you, shut up! Silence resonated. Silence resumed. Silence popped up. Regain after she said that. Everybody looked at her to see what she would say. Now it's not the time for our allies to be squabbling with each other. Hinata turned to Snare. Sarah, if you want to take my place on top, you'd be more welcome to try. Bear in mind, I would have to test you to see if you would have what it takes. That was enough to silence every knight in the room. Hinata's words were no mere threat. If the knights continued to argue foolishly, she would already start slashing them. Her audience were all smart enough to pick up on that. It was rare for Hinata to show that much emotion, forcing Sarah to back down because any more prodding would be dangerous. Pfft, whatever, Sarah said with a frustrated look. And after that, and after already tasted a humiliating defeat against Hinata once, he was not ready to face the humiliation once anytime soon. Hinata calmed down after making sure that everyone has settled down. Reporting. Lutus freshly returned from the field work around the Jura forest. The forest was in perfect peace. Even Valdora's resurrection. I spied a group of merchants entering and exiting the area. I managed to overhear a few rumors, which is, the new demon lord has awakened into a true dragon, Lutus said. What? Everyone shouted. Quiet. Let's hear the report to the end first. Grigori tried to say. I said quiet, or do you want to go against me? Hinata asked Grigori with a glare. He wisely kept silent after that. No matter how arrogant he may be, he was not foolish enough to go against Hinata. Continue. Very well. I spoke to some of the merchants, and they say that they were not sure of themselves if the rumor is true. However, they were told that the kingdom of Valmu had declared a full open relationship with Tempest. This includes security, includes guarantee, and Blue Mud citizens are allowed to come and go as they please. Although I can't confirm if the rumor of Demon Lord Rimiru ascension to a true dragon was true, since security was very tight. Lutus reported. I see. And what about Valdor? Hinata asked. I was unable to confirm Valdor's existence. I couldn't enter the city since there was a barrier that covered the city, which I believe informs them of the intention of who's entering the city. Lutus said. Hinata nodded to Lutus after she was done giving her report. Hinata expected something like this. Luminous confirmed to her Rimiru has indeed ascended to a true dragon. What if the ascension is fake? What if the news of Demon Lord Rimiru's ascension was fake? Fritz asked. Hinata gave him a look which immediately silenced him. We couldn't write off that possibility of the rumor being true. Let's hear the rest of the report before we decide, Hinata said to them calmly. The meet continued with with this in this manner, with everyone giving their own report to Hinata. From what Hinata could gather, it seems that Demon Lord Rimiru has indeed ascended to a true dragon. He has established a working relationship with his allied nations. The reports the knights could give about all the people opinions of Tempest were all positive. The people were all praising Tempest, and from the looks of things, it was only a matter of time before Tempest becomes the greatest nation in the western country. Sarah was the last to give his report. It seems that King Edmaris has abdicated to the throne just as Demon Lord Rimiru has demanded. And on the surface, it seems the transfer was peaceful, but Edward the new king is busy assembling an army of talented mercenaries. In response, the nobility is getting frantic as well. I believe a start of a civil war is about to take place. And that was what Hinata wanted to hear. The whole situation Farmas all pointed to a civil war, and there's a suspicion that Demon Lord Rimiru was the mastermind behind it all. That alone was not enough to conclude that Demon Lord Rimiru is the mastermind behind it, Sarah continued. That's true, so Hinata asked. I went down on everybody the new king has made contact with. He has been busy that's for sure, Sarah said. Is he trying to show up his military? Hinata asked. Exactly, Hinata. Well, that settles it. The new king, Edward, has no intention of fulfilling the demands of Demon Lord Rimiru. No Demon Lord will let something like that go unchallenged. I doubt Rimiru is foolish enough to not suspect that from him. So, do you think that this is all a part of our new Demon Lord's plans? Fritz asked. Yeah, no doubt about it, Hinata answered. All this are still revolving around the new Demon Lord Rimiru as a terrifying foe, not because of his strength, but because of his intelligence. How he predicts outcome and plan ahead, even before the event happened, is one of the things that terrified Hinata about Rimiru, though she would never let her knights hear about it. Hinata looked at the knights seated around her and sighed. They all had a confident look on their face. They were under the impression that they were the strongest beings in this world, excluding the true dragons. She pitied them because before she met Luminous in person, she was under the same kind of thought. Once they see how truly terrifying a true demon lord is, she could only hope that they won't be too broken after the encounter. That concludes the report. I hope everyone got the pictures of things. Hinata asked. Yes, Bernard said. The resurrection of Storm Dragon Valdor has less impact than expected, and the only casualties were the deployed military of Farmas. The real question is whether the rumor of the new Demon Lord Rimiru being a true dragon is true or not. If that is the case, why don't we ask the Archbishop Rahim, who survived the onslaught of Valdor's rampage? We know he was a Tempest before as a prisoner, but he was released by Demon Lord Rimiru. I'm curious on what he could tell us about the new Demon Lord, Sarah said. I thought so. I contacted him, so he should be here any moment now. Hinata explained. I can't wait to hear what he has to say, Fritz said. Maybe he can tell us the rumor of Demon Lord Rimiru's ascension to True Dragon is true, Glinda said. Hinata saw no reason to keep what Luminous has said to her secret. True, I can say to you now, amongst the messages I received from our Lord Luminous, there is one we must not break no matter what, which is we must never lay a hand on Demon Lord Rimiru under any circumstances. Please bear that in mind, Hinata told them. What? Everyone shouted. I'll be blunt, Hinata said. In this instance, we must remain undercover. None of our dealings with this new Demon Lord must come out to the public. This was her way of telling all the knights to keep their hands away from Rimiru, which surprised them. Are you saying we should ignore everything this new demon lord is doing? Sarah asked her in anger. He was right. Even if the rumor of the new demon lord being a true dragon is true, if all is gathered and challenge him, we can surely defeat him. The demon lords are untouchable as a rule, yes, but only in the public eyes. If you recall, they are no match for the 10 great saints. We all band together that not even a true dragon stand in our chance. And if it's all band together, not even a true dragon can stand in our way. Can stand a chance. Arnaud said. The others nodded from this. Again was reminded of their ignorance of the proud knights. It was true that the knights were strong enough to would be a demon lord, but compared to the real thing, then the 10 great saints stand no chance. And hell, Hinata, who has met and fought Luminous, could testify to this. And Luminous, the all-powerful demon lord, was very worried of angry Rimiru, who is now a true dragon. This is to show you how vast the power gap between a true dragon and an awakened demon lord is. The proud Luminous admitted that she would rather not mess with Rimiru in any situation whatsoever. This made Hinata believe that picking a fight with Rimiru will be the most foolish thing that they will ever do. She had her suspicion that Rimiru was the one who wiped out the far Musking army. If he was able to do that before awakening to a true demon lord and ascension to a true dragon, then she doesn't even want to imagine what kind of monster he is now. Against that kind of monster would do to a wannabe knights have to offer. And from what Luminous told her, that it was one of his subordinates that beat up an awakened demon lord, claiming if demon lord Rimiru's subordinates were all awakened demon lord level, alongside Rimiru, who is now a true dragon, then picking a fight with him is out of the question. Not to mention that demon lord Milim will not hesitate to wipe us out if we lay our hand on her lover. Though, if we have both this demon lord and storm dragon Valdora to deal with, no matter how strong we are, we can't take them both head on, Renard said. But we can't allow this demon lord to go as he pleased in the domain of humans, Gregory said. Gregory shouted, which resumed the debate back in the silence. Hinata heard enough, and when the hall grew quiet, with everyone looking at Hinata, she said, The messengers of Luminous is absolute. We cannot defy them. What the hell are you talking about? Telling us to do? Are you telling us to let farmers be razed to the ground? Litus said. No, Litus. The main problem in Farmas is the civil war. Its people, not its nobility, must be protected. Renard said. We are going to see some changes in Farmas very soon. They never let us interfere in their business before. I doubt that they will let us interfere now, Hinata said with a smirk. So we should just let Demon Lord Rimiru do as he pleases? Grigori asked. Yes, we should. The Demon Lord Rimiru has declared his disinterest and hostility with the human race. If that is true, then there is no further reason to be hostile with him, Hinata told them. In truth, she was only saying this because she knew that they would be slaughtered if they challenged Rimiru to a fight. The difference in power is clear as day and night. At least to her it is. The proud knights will never understand this unless they meet a true demon lord for real. Besides, Archbishop Rahim of Farmas was part of the invasion team, and I myself have attempted to defeat Demon Lord Rimiru. Both of us failed. And now he likely views us as his enemy. I'm not sure that there was another choice but to keep quiet, Hinata said. But those are mistakes of the Western Holy Church and of yourself. And it is not a mistake of Lubilis. Of Lubilis, Gorgori insisted. Exactly. And that is why we must stay hands off. If worst comes to worst, I will take full blame for everything that has happened, Hinata said with a strong voice. My lady, you can't. No, I won't accept this. The Paladins voiced their objection as Hinata addressed the Master Rooks. Calm down. I don't think that Demon Lord Rimiru wants to wage war with us as well, Hinata told them. You trust him that much? Sarah asked. Yeah, I do. This may sound unlikely from someone who tried to kill him, but I trust him. He told me himself he's an otherworlder. I ignored it at the time, but it seems that he was trying to avoid a conflict with me. Hinata told them. Another worlder? Truly, Anard exclaimed. Yes. From what he said, he died in his other world and was reincarnated as a slime, Hinata said. The knights could not believe what they heard. The new Demon Lord Rimiru is starting to sound more interesting by the minute. That's all well and good, but what if Demon Lord Rimiru sees you as his enemy? Sarah asked. Yeah, you did try to kill the guy, and now that he has got a bunch more powers, he might try to get back at you. I won't blame the guy, Fritz said. I told you, I will take all the blame. I might even go there and apologize if need be, Hinata said casually. You know that's reckless, right? Renard asked her. Well, it is not something I would do right away. I first need to understand Demon Lord Rimiru's mindset when Archbishop Raham arrives. The meeting continued like this until there was a knock on the conference room door. Come in. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe today to become one of my domestic listeners. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.